and welcome back to another episode of the Organizepreneur podcast. I am your host, Aldreama Harper. So listen, I am still riding high from episode 200, which was the previous episode, and I just want to thank everyone for listening and for congratulating me on the socials and all. Thank you so much. That was a huge milestone for me, mainly because I guess I'm just really excited about it because it's halfway to the 400th mark. The last podcast that I did, which I've shared with you all, was with my business partner, and we did over 400 episodes. So I'm halfway to the next milestone, which would be 300 and then 400, etc., etc. Anyway, I digress. God is so good, and I'm just so grateful for those of you who are listening and commenting and following and all of the wonderful stuff. So, if you remember in the previous episode, 200, I shared a quote with you, and I told you that it was a writer downer. I said that content may be king, but operations is the kingdom. And I totally believe that. Operations is the kingdom. And so today we're going to talk about what happens when your kingdom is built with duct tape. Oh, you probably haven't heard that one anyway. So here, the question is this: are you running your business, or did you accidentally create an exhausting part-time job for yourself? So I remember, and I may have shared this before, but I remember in my organizing business, I was so excited because I felt like at the time, I felt like I was running a business, but in reality, what was I doing? I had created actually a full-time job for myself. And what do I mean by that? I was doing everything. And include my systems were, or should I say the lack thereof, they were duct taped. And so that becomes the question. And lately in my, conversations with podcasters and agency owners and service-based entrepreneurs, and I keep hearing about these roadblocks. They know the podcast is, the best lead generation asset. It is an excellent asset. They love getting behind the microphone, much like me, sharing their expertise, much like me, but behind the scenes, the post-production is completely draining them. Not like me. I finally got it. But that post-production is what I call the Frankenstein stack. And I talked a little bit about that on the previous episode, I know. So, just stay with me. We'll get a little bit more familiar with that. So you get one single episode out of the door. You are using Zoom to record. Then you're downloading the heavy file to your desktop, or the not heavy file, but the large files onto your desktop. Then you're uploading it to a separate Google Drive folder. Then you're jumping in Slack or whatever communication tool that you're using to message your VA if you have one. Then you're opening up your Google Doc to try and write some show notes, either from scratch. You might even be using, AI to do that, but you're still doing all of the stuff, because then from there you're using Canva or Trello or Asana or what have you. The point is this: you're duct taping all of these different platforms together just to make the process work, and it just is exhausting. I mean, even me sharing that was exhausting me because it just reminded me of some of the things that I have done in the past. And worse, when you build your operations this way, guess what happens? You become the bottleneck. You become the bottleneck. Every single file transfer, every single edit, every single social media caption has to cross your desk before it can be published. And so you end up spending 3 to 5 hours a week playing volunteer admin for your own show. I don't want that for you. You did not start your business to live in the weeds. Come out of the weeds. Come out of the weeds. It's time to step out of the weeds and step into your role as the CEO of your podcast, the CEO of your business, the CEO of your media company. And the difference between a podcaster and a media CEO or CEO is that a podcaster treats their show like a hobby, and a media CEO treats their show like a media company. Your perspective is different when you treat it like a company, like an asset. And CEOs don't do manual data entry. They don't spend 3 to 5 hours trying to figure out, where did that audio file go? And that is so frustrating. And I can relate because I've done it. And so instead, they sit down at the mic, they deliver incredible value to their audience, and they let the systemized automated system or team handle the rest. So, if you remember, in our last episode, I talked about the 3-part playbook: production, process, and project management. That is the playbook. That's the 3-part playbook. And when you replace the Frankenstein stack with a true podcast operating system, everything changes. You use one tool like Riverside to handle all of your high quality local recording and transcription. You use your automated AI brain with the custom mega prompts tailored for your brand voice to generate the show notes, the social posts, the 30-second posts, right? Instead of 3 hours. And you use one command center. You know, my favorite command center is Northflow, just to manage the entire project visually. So when you trim the fat, everything moves faster. Your profit margin soars, and more importantly, you get your time back. That is the most important thing. So here's my question for you today. Are you ready to stop duct taping your podcast operations together? If so, if you are an established creator or service provider and you realize that your time is too valuable, it is the most valuable asset that you have, and it's too valuable to be spent doing post-production admin work, then I want to help you. Here at the Organizepreneur Studio, an agency, we don't just edit audios. We install fully automated back-end media pipelines for our clients and handle 100% rather, of the done-for-you production so that you just show up at the mic and we handle the rest. So with that said, I'm actually opening up more spots for our core media pipeline. And if you want to hand off your post-production entirely, then I want you to click on the link that will be in the show notes and book a complimentary call with me And let's build that system so that the world can hear your message without burning you out. All right. Well, that's all I have for today. Remember to do all things decently and in order and protect your peace. And I'll see you on the next episode. Have an amazing day. Speaking no fear, no tears. Each story told, driving through the years. Future brighter than the stars, crystal clear.